Kelly from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Monday, February 13th. So, Mondays, moon ruled days, and having a moon event on a Monday definitely adds to the double whammy intensity that we can expect from the last quarter moon taking place in Scorpio, which is in a pretty intense aspect all by itself. There are 11 different aspects here today. 9 of them involve the moon. We are going to have the moon go void of course at 6:53 p.m. and we will have it shift into this Sagittarius energy at 8:33 p.m. again, Eastern Standard Time. Now, it's going to be an interesting cluster F of a day because we are building towards this last quarter moon in Scorpio that takes place at 11:02 a.m. We proceed through the last degrees of Scorpio energy, go void of course, 6:53 p.m., lock into Sag energy, 8:33 p.m., which is totally going to change the game. Why is that? Well, first of all, Scorpio energy is very dark, very, very much in the shadow realm of our experiences. And over the last couple of days, we should have had some profound insight, some profound changes and transformations in our emotional realm, in our mental realm, that will eventually lead to making the changes and transformations in our physical realm. Sag energy always acts as the light at the end of a very dark tunnel. Sag energy is a fire energy. We come out of the depths of the water of Scorpio energy. We get dried off very quick by the fire energy of Sag. We also have a new mission, a new meaning, a new truth, a new purpose by some of the things that got unearthed and uncovered while the moon was in Scorpio. And Sag energy brings back the positivity, brings back the optimism. We have a different belief system now within us because we've had some aha moments, and now we're looking to put it into action. So we are going to feel the highs and the lows and everything in between as we float through the day. The moon is going to make a very positive interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer. And this definitely screams of realizing, especially from yesterday's little fiasco, on what it is that we have to heal within ourselves. We have identified where it is that we are keeping the shadow parts of our mind space, of our emotions alive and well by rehashing old memories, old storylines that are keeping us stuck in a negative vibration and frequency. Having that realization yesterday means that today we can see where it is that we're the problem, and we can eliminate that problem by shifting our perspective, our understanding, and essentially shifting the emotions that go along with the storyline that is too played out at this particular point in time. The moon makes a positive interaction with Mercury, who, again, is still getting situated in this Aquarian energy. Listen to the astro forecast that I put out for Mercury moving into Aquarius energy so that you have the full story on that. And listen to the ascension forecast for the week because this is a day where some of those ascension symptoms will definitely be popping off with the intensity of energies that we are about to experience. The moon, our heart space, our emotions, our intuition, our unconscious self. Mercury, our mental plane, our inner narrative, information, details, how it is that we're communicating and expressing ourselves. They're on the same page. This is our heart and our head on the same page. What's beautiful about this is that Scorpio energy that the moon is in, Aquarian energy that Mercury is in, they're both fixed signs. They're getting along with each other. They're stabilizers. So we're stabilizing our emotions. We're stabilizing our inner realm of thought. And because Mercury, the lower level intellect, is in Aquarian energy, the higher level intellect, we're able to act as the observer and see our emotions and the inner workings of our mind from a different perspective that is going to help free and liberate us from some of the pain, some of the trauma, some of the dark narratives that we would have identified by sitting in the dark pit of our existence here yesterday. The moon is going to go ahead and trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, who is in Pisces energy. So we get some water on water action here. This is what the trine is all about, which means that emotionally speaking, we are identifying what it is that we need, what it is we want, what it is that we desire within ourselves to feel safe and secure and stable within our relationships in order to provide us with the safety, the security, the stability that we need emotionally to feel safe in other people's presence. We are recognizing what it is that makes us happy, what it is that brings us a sense of joy, and we are, because this is a water energy, cleansing ourselves of those old fragmented ideas, preventing us from truly aligning with what it is that makes us happy, what it is that we want, need, and desire. The moon goes ahead, bumps into Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion, beliefs in abundance and blessings, who is in this Aries energy. And this isn't the best interaction, but what I will say is that this gives us an opportunity, because of the realizations that we just had within ourselves, because of the amount of growth and healing that we're able to identify that needs to happen within ourselves. This is going to amplify where it is that we actually have to take action in our lives and create a external reality that mirrors back the inner changes that we've made in our inner reality. Now, Jupiter is here to magnify. Jupiter is here to kind of turn the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling. And we're feeling pretty good. However, now realizing some of these aha moments that we just had on what it is that makes us happy, who it is that makes us happy, what it is that we want, need, and deserve and desire for ourselves. Now we're looking back at our realities and we're seeing the gap between where it is that we're at and where it is that we desire to be. And so Jupiter is magnifying where it is that, guess what, we got to make some changes. We got to make a little bit of an effort to grow through this particular transition. We have to make some alterations to our physical lives. And that's where things get a little bit scary. The moon goes ahead, trines, which is another beautiful aspect with Neptune this time in Pisces energy. And this is a beautiful vibration for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's a water on water action, which means that we are cleansing ourselves from the lower vibrational frequencies of our emotional and mental state. Secondly, we are transforming. Water is transformative. It takes on different states, a liquid, a gas, a solid. What we're doing here is we are adding to the fluidity that is needed in order to transform our emotional state due to our mental perspectives. And this Neptune energy realigns us with our intuition. Our intuition is so strong in water energies. We are able to align with our higher self. We are able to really have a gut reaction on what it is that we need to do in order to align with the dream and the vision that we are now trying to manifest. And this particular energy is very inspiring. We're going to have a lot of beautiful insights downloaded to us, some aha moments. We are using our imagination for good at this particular moment. And we are really focusing on what it is that we are going to change in our physical realms now that we've had the change and transformation in our inner realms. 11:02 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The moon in Scorpio squares get into the boxing ring with the sun in Aquarius. This gives us our last quarter moon phase, and of course is taking place in the latter degrees of Scorpio energy. So this is kind of a twofold situation. First fold being we have to go back to the new moon in Aquarius because that is when this lunar cycle kicked off. The last quarter moon of any moon cycle is an aha moment, a crisis point in consciousness where we reflect back to the new moon events. We recognize the highs and the lows of the experiences that we've had since then. We start sorting out and processing what needs to stay, what needs to go. We start realizing where it is that we have to tie up the loose ends if we want to begin again. And of course, that new beginning is going to kick off under the new moon in Pisces on the 20th. But until then, we kind of have to take stock on what it is that we got to clean up, what we got to let go of, what we got to surrender to. Because it's a Scorpio energy, it's essentially putting something to a death, especially our emotions. Why? Because the sun in Aquarius energy is projecting this beautiful light on the path forward. But there's so much emotional weight keeping us tied to this present moment and even more so to the past that we can't even dream of lightening the load in the quest of this new adventure to move forward until we drop some of that emotional baggage. The second fold to this particular last quarter moon in Scorpio is that it's taking place in Scorpio energy at the latter degrees. May I remind you, we have the true nodes of the moon currently on this Taurus and Scorpio axis. We are about to wrap this particular spiritual collective life lesson up. And just a reminder to you, this particular life lesson that kicked off in November of 2021 is about death, endings, closures, what we have to let go of, what we have to surrender to in order to create the space to build and create something new in our lives. Taurus energy, the death, the endings, the closure, the transformation, the shadow work, Scorpio energy. So there is a reverberation of the life lessons that we've been working through for the last year and a half coming into our realization under this last quarter moon in Scorpio, really putting it into a better perspective. Again, Aquarian energy acting as the observer, a better perspective on what it is that's blocking us from actually moving forward. This is going to be intense. It's going to be a shift. It's going to be a trigger and an activation point in order for us to see the gap between then and projection to the future. What does that leave us with? This present moment, the here and now. What are we going to do in this present moment? Well, we're going to decide how much we're willing to let go of in efforts to have the space to actually build something new in its place. So it is going to be very revealing. It is going to feel very intense, and it is going to be a major shift, a major transformation. We sit in that energy for a couple of hours until Venus goes ahead, takes center stage as she semi-squares the true node. The true node, of course, in Taurus energy, the north node, if you want to be a little bit more specific, in Taurus energy, Venus rules over Taurus energy. So there's a little bit of an intensity here as well. Venus being in this Pisces energy, yes, it's lovey, it's dovey, it's romantic, it's dreamy, it's imaginative, it's fantastical, but this is a semi-square. This is tapping into the shadow realm of this particular aspect. And what do we get in the shadow realm of Venus being in Pisces? Well, we get delusion. We get the rose-colored glasses that need to be slapped off of our pretty little faces so that we can see life for what it is and not for the way that we wished it would be. We understand that they are a little bit illuminating right now where it is that we have detached and disassociated, avoided our reality, and where it is that now this reality is kind of hitting us, that we lived in la la land. Suddenly, we have a very sobering effect taking over, realizing what it is that we're not happy with, what it is that we have to change, what it is that we did romanticize, what it is that we did paint a light and fluffy picture that in reality, with those rose-colored glasses on our face, pretty ugly, if I do say so myself. Now, keep in mind, Venus moving through Pisces energy, she's all about getting real with herself, stripping away the bullshit, so that she can get real and raw and authentic. Why? Because some relationship dynamics need to be changed and in some cases need to end altogether. She is preparing to move into Aries energy just minutes after the new moon in Pisces on February 20th. Go ahead, listen to February's energy forecast so you get the highs and lows of that. Download your zodiac forecast if you haven't already so that you know what area of your life this particular energy will manifest in. But basically, with this semi-square, we're not feeling so hot, and we're realizing right now that if we actually don't come back down to earth and live in reality, we may never make the changes that we have to make in order to get on the right path for our soul's mission, for our soul's purpose. So there's a little bit of, I'm going to say, confusion, avoidance, a little bit of fear kicking up in us because, wow, we just got those rose-colored glasses smacked off of our face and this place looks way different than the way that we've been looking at it. So there's a little bit of a reality check coming at us and it can feel very overwhelming, especially in the emotional realm because, again, we are seeing where it is that we've been lying to ourselves, where it is that we've deluded ourselves into thinking that everything was peachy keen, when in fact, it is not. The moon goes ahead, squares, gets into the boxing ring with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is in Aquarian energy as well. So a square is a tension point. It's a conflict. We got to get in the boxing ring and fight it out. What are we fighting? Well, first of all, Mr. Saturn in Aquarius energy, who is very, very visionary, wants us to continue to remind ourselves about the vision, the possibilities, the dream that we're hoping to manifest. Recognizing where it is that there is no structure built in our lives in the present moment in order to get us there. There is no system on how it is that we are planning and strategizing to make the changes that we need to make in order to land up in our futuristic vision. And where it is, again, that we may be a little bit too concerned with what other people may think of some of the dramatic changes that we are currently contemplating making. Saturn in that Aquarian energy over the past 2 years has definitely been restructuring within us how many F's we actually give about other people's thoughts and opinions. Again, we've been learning a tough love life lesson in boundaries. We've been realizing where it is that we have spent the majority of our lives dumbing ourselves down, dimming our own light in order to fit in, when, of course, we weren't meant to fit in, we were meant to stand out. So, emotionally speaking, we feel the weight of the roles and responsibilities that are currently on our plate for us to boss up into so that we can get to building. What are we building? We're building a bridge. What is that bridge meant for? To get us away from where it is that we're at and to get us closer to where it is that we desire to be. How do we do that? We implement boundaries. Who are we implementing boundaries with? Anybody that is going to prevent us from standing in our true, authentic selves, in our mission, in our purpose of us reaching our soul's potential. Boundaries are needed. Is this going to feel good? Nope. Is it going to feel very heavy, very weighted? Absolutely. Is it going to feel very soul crushing? 100%. Is this going to make us kind of whine a little bit? Absolutely. Why? Because we're about to make a major, major move. What is that move? You're about to see. The moon is going to make an aspect with Chiron, the wounded healer. And after this particular little fight, this little tiff, if you will, with Mr. Saturn, you best believe that we are going to sit in the fears, sit in the doubts, sit in our insecurities. Why? Because we just had a major, major change take place in our inner realm, realizing what it is that we have to do in order to create a new reality for ourselves. And now we're overwhelmed with what it is that we have to do. And now we're going to sit in the funk. Why? Because when we sit in the funk, we can whine, we can cry, we can blame other people. We can literally sit here and try to justify for ourselves why it is that maybe we should just play it small. Maybe we should just stop wanting to be better. Why? Because less is expected of us in that case. We don't need to boss up, take accountability and responsibility for our lives. We can just sit around and continue to blame all of the other aspects, all of the other people in our lives for our current life situation. Sounds a lot easier than being in control and 100% responsible and accountable for the way that your life is. So now we're really sitting in it. The sun, here's a beautiful thing. The sun is going to make a positive interaction with the true note. The sun is shining a bright light on the possibilities of the future and coming at such a beautiful, beautiful time because, as you know, we are sitting in the darkness right now. We are sitting in the funk. The sun is shining a beautiful light on the possibilities of the future so that we can become re-inspired, re-motivated again. It is hard to sit in the mental narrative and the emotional state to convince ourselves to continue to play it small so that we don't have to boss up and take accountability and responsibility for our lives and build something better in the place of the damage and the destruction of the elements in which we had to let go of and essentially let die. It's a lot easier to stay in that darkness, to stay in victimhood, to stay in the mentality where we don't want to change, we don't want to transform, but the beautiful sun is shining a bright light on all that we could be, all that we could create, all that we could experience, all that we could be living in, which sounds freaking beautiful. And what we're doing in this particular moment of realizing that the grass is actually greener on the other side once we get our asses up and in gear in order to realize that our grass is only dank and ugly because we failed to have discipline to water it, to nourish it, to take care of it, to cultivate it. Now we are starting to see that, guess what? I'm going to have to push forth a lot more energy and effort to make something beautiful out of the mess in which I'm currently sitting in. And the sun shining a beautiful light on the path forward, suddenly we recognize where it is that the first step has to be taken. where it is that we have to signal to the universe that we're ready to boss up, to take control of our lives, to create a better reality for ourselves. And in this moment, it's a beautiful thing because at 6:53 p.m., the moon in Scorpio makes its very last aspect before going void, of course. It's a sextile, which is a beautiful, beautiful blending of energies with Pluto, not only the ruler over Scorpio energy, but the great transformer himself. You best believe that we just shifted our perspective. We just shifted our emotions. We just shifted our mental narrative on what it is that we want for ourselves. And what we want for ourselves far exceeds what it is that we currently have. And what is it going to cost us? It's going to cost us our boldness, our bravery, our courage, our heart, our soul. Why? Because we have a mission. We have a purpose to constantly grow, to constantly improve, to try and reach our soul's potential. And we are inspired and motivated and determined now that the sun shone a very bright light on the possibilities of what could be if we just got out of our own way. So this internal shift in our thoughts and our emotions and our perspective and our understanding is going to launch us into the path and moving forward at the most beautiful time possible, because the moon goes void. There are no interactions. The moon jumps into Sag energy, 8:33 p.m. There's no interactions until very, very early on Tuesday morning.